All right, we'll get started on our Monday. I think temperatures are going to start climbing a little bit this morning, but the clouds will be on the increase. And then when those showers start or when those periods of rain start, we'll see those temperatures get knocked back down. The sooner those rains get here, then maybe we don't get past the middle 80s in the first place. But I do think especially more to the north, more to the west, it may take a little while to get those showers. So we've got chances to get to some of the upper 80s this afternoon. Right now, I see a little activity on radar, mostly down to the bottom of the screen, way down to the south. Some showers off the Franklin County coast, more off the Taylor and Dixie County coast. Now, some of this has been getting a little bit bigger over the past hour, and it's trying to move from south and east to north and west. That's where all the big rains were over the weekend, down across parts of central Florida, and that is continuing to lift more off to the north and towards the west as this energy itself and all this moisture moves in that fashion, and that's where our rain chances come in for today. We're at 76 to get started at the Tallahassee Airport, 75 in Thomasville, and it's 75 degrees in Valdosta. I got a little breeze out of the east and southeast. That'll be the main direction, and you'll notice, I think, just a little uptick in the humidity. I think you've started to feel a little bit this weekend. We had the clouds, we had the breeze this weekend to keep some of those temperatures down, but we certainly had the humidity, and we're going to have plenty of that this week too. How about a few more numbers around the region, from a 76 in Mariana and in Bainbridge to 75s in Thomasville and in Moultrie. I see a 77 in Quincy and an 82 at Alligator Point this morning. If there's going to be a breeze, and I do think there'll be a little bit of a breeze, it'll be east and southeast. I'm not expecting fog to be an issue for us, not this morning. We'll see if maybe tomorrow we have some patchy fog. And can you see some of those showers to the bottom of the screen? Just maybe get a little bit bigger as they try to move a little bit more to the north. The sooner those rains start spreading inland, the sooner we see those temperatures get knocked back down. But I do think it's going to probably take until after lunch for a lot of us to start spreading those showers, especially in South Georgia. So it's going to take longer the more north that you are. Everybody has a pretty good chance to get some rain at some point this afternoon, and then it tapers off to showers later on tonight and for tomorrow. So I don't expect 24 hours worth of heavy rains here, but I think we get 2-3 hours worth of some serious rains in spots, and then some pockets of showers that linger. So we're going to keep things more unsettled once we get to some of those rains this afternoon, and maybe that's how that stays into the day tomorrow before we start to take more of that traditional August summer pattern, where the mornings, even in the early afternoon, we get some sun, it starts to really get hot, and then the showers hopefully develop to cool things down, and that's coming later this week. For today, we're expecting those periods of rain this afternoon, and tomorrow's like the transition before we get to a more typical summer setup starting Wednesday. The tropics have been interesting for the past week or so. A couple of things to keep our eyes on. We've got this one area out here in the middle of the Atlantic. It almost looks like something, and it's trying, but chances are slim for that one. And then you've got this right here. This definitely looks like something coming off the Cape Verde Islands. As that makes its way very slowly towards the west, we'll have lots of time to watch and see how this develops. We're up to about a 90% chance for some sort of development with this energy. The next name on the list is Aaron. I will be surprised if we're not calling this something else, maybe even later today. Got lots of time to watch. Usually storms that originate in that area, they curve north, but we'll watch, we'll see. Nothing to get excited about just yet, but certainly something to keep in the back of our minds that there's going to be some energy. And we're getting to the middle of August. There's supposed to be energy out there. There always is. So plenty for us to continue to monitor for you. On the Gulf today, southeast and south winds 8 to 18, seas 2 to 4 feet. We'll go light to moderate chop in the protected waters. I do think these periods of rain are going to make things a little bit more interesting for the boaters out there today. 70s this morning, we'll call it muggy. Rain chances go from 30 to 90%. I'm expecting to get wet this afternoon pretty much across the board. There could be some periods where the rain gets a little heavy too. Mid 80s, probably the most that most of us do, and then the rains will knock those temperatures down. If the rains wait until 2, 3, 4 o'clock, maybe we see some of those temperatures and get up closer to 90, but I don't think we're going to have to wait that long. Mid 70s with the showers tapering off tonight. Lots of clouds lingering into the day tomorrow. Still some showers, but by no means an all-day steady soaking rain. And then as we get to Wednesday, Thursday, you see how those temperatures start to crank. I think it's going to get awfully hot by the end of the week.